All right. Well, welcome back to episode 19. Today, we're going to discuss how fear is destroying your life, part 2. About a few weeks back, we did part 1 where we talked about relationship fear. Today, we're going to discuss fear surrounding your career, maybe your personal fitness, learning a new skill, changing careers, communicating with others. There's so many ways that fear impacts our lives, right, Christian? And, we let it hold us back. So I would like to start today. We have a few different avenues we want to go down, but I want to bring up fitness. And you all know that I'm the midlife master and I work with women over 40. And a lot of the fitness fears or fitness concerns that I hear from you all are the first one being, and I think many of you probably already know what I'm going to say, but you ladies come to me and always say, I don't want to get too bulky. I want to learn how to lift weights, but I don't want to get too big. And to be quite honest, no matter what age you're at, it's probably even more so over 40, over 50, that's really not going to happen. First of all, without getting into too much science of it, we don't have the testosterone to get.
You know what? I'm going to interject.
I'm
it's not that it's not even really going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. The women that say this, and I've had plenty of female clients who have said this, are generally nowhere even close. It's like if you were on the border of, you know what, I'm getting pretty muscular, right? I'm looking like a female bodybuilder. Maybe I don't need to put on any more muscle. But usually it's like, yeah, I'm just getting into fitness. This is all new to me. I don't want to get too bulky. It's like, my God, you are decades away from even the possibility of it. You're not going to accidentally turn into greatness. Like, it's just not.
He's stuttering. He's stuttering. He's frustrated.
It's the thing that people are afraid of, but no one's ever come across.
Right.
Find me one female bodybuilder, just one, or any athlete that a woman would consider bulky, and obviously that's subjective.
Right.
Find me one that said this happened by accident. Just one.
Oh, right.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Definitely not by accident. But I have to give you guys sort of the backstory here, because when I was just talking before, he had this look in his eye like his eyes were going to bulge out of his head. He had to jump in. So that's why I was laughing. But, so yes, we don't have the testosterone, ladies. And I have to, I've been lifting weights for 10 plus years, seriously lifting weight, 10 plus years, always worked out, but not to the level I am now. And I still want to improve things on my physique. So someone who's really been dedicated to it, like myself, year after year after year after year, still want to make improvements. So it's not that easy to just all of a sudden become bulky. So that's one fear that you should not be concerned about going into the gym. I mean, you definitely want to push yourself when you're lifting weights, because that's when you're going to make the most changes, is when you really challenge your body and you get to rep 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're really pushing and squinting and growling and maybe swearing. Like, that's when you know that you're working your body as hard as you should be. So that's one fear I know many, many women head into the gym with. Other ones that I want to discuss are fear of injury. I think a lot of women that are over 40, Christian, come into the gym and they talk to me and they're afraid to put more weight on the bar if we're deadlifting or squatting, because they're worried about their lower back or their knees. Or, if you have a condition, that's a different story. But, if you're healthy and you have no joint issues, there's no reason why, if you're doing movements properly, that you can't increase the weight on a deadlift or a squat or a lunge or an overhead press or whatever the movement is that you're doing. So those are two of the fears that I know a lot of women come into the gym with. Christian, feel free to jump in anytime, because I know men have some different fears, but some of them are similar. But, pushing too hard is another one. Feeling self-conscious in the gym. We're going to discuss all of those. So I'll turn it over to my esteemed colleague to make some comments, and we'll come back to some more of the ladies' issues.
Yes, fitness, there are plenty of things that people struggle with, men and women, and it might be the fear of looking dumb. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation with a guy yesterday who was inquiring about coaching, and, generally a guy that you wouldn't think would have an issue with the gym. His was more so, I'm not sure what to do, so I haven't started. Right. It's like, I just, I want to do it. I'm right on the edge of making the decision, but I have no idea what I should be doing. And the first thing I'll say is,
where to start.
Yeah. I can understand that because I'm a person that loves to understand what I'm doing before, essentially doing the due diligence. But at the same time, we have YouTube at our access. You can generally find, and I should say this loosely, you can find good information out there by seeking out a coach that's knowledgeable, right? It's not necessarily the person who's on Instagram doing freaking Russian twists with a medicine ball and doing jump squats all day. There's tons of those crap profiles out there and, so to speak, influencers.
Yeah, you have to know what you're looking for, and you have to be able to recognize good quality information. And we can always lead you in the right direction if you want to watch something from someone that's experienced.
Exactly. And the fact that you are listening to this podcast means that you have access to people who understand the nuances of training, right? And how to do things correctly and what direction to point you in if you want to get started. So it's rarely a lack of access to the information, but it's more so just the fear of I'm going to look this way or this is going to happen. And by all means, don't do a deadlift if you think you're going to hurt your back.
Right.
Because if you do decide to go heavy and you have no idea what you're doing, that might happen. It's just like, hey, if you've never driven a car before, you probably don't want to get on Route 95 during rush hour. You're probably going to crash, right? So, but start somewhere that you know is accessible to your skill level. For example, there's machines, and on every machine, at least gyms that are well cared for, there's directions. This is how you sit on it. This is your hands go here, and this is the muscle that's being worked.
Right.
You don't have to go crazy heavy if you're not confident in doing it because you might not know how to brace, how to breathe, but you could just start moving your body, right? You can, go to a gym and ask for a trainer to take you through either a complimentary session, which many gyms offer. And, again, you'll likely get some decent coaching, right? I'm not going to say it's going to be great because I've been at high-end gyms and seen some crap stuff. But in general, you'll get guided in somewhat right direction.
And if it's more machine work too, they can show you if you have to adjust the seat or the handles, or because you want to make sure that you're sitting at the right height or the right incline or whatever the machine is. Just to interject quickly, I have a female client who's not near me, shout out to Julie, and I had her find a seasoned trainer. We went through and she found some people and we looked at their credentials, and she reached out to one of them at her gym because she's not near me. And this woman coached her and watched her and took a video and sent it to me, deadlifting and squatting, because she was unsure about how to do it by herself. Obviously, I'm not geographically near her, so we found someone that showed her how to do the proper movements, and now she's doing those things on her own. So you could even do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's a great point as well. Now there's so much possibility with online. Even the coach that you choose to use, you may not have them at your access. Like Linda just said, her client found another trainer. But let's say your coach is like, listen, just send me your videos directly. Even if it's a preliminary, hey, let's see what your squat looks like. All right, look at the video. You know what? Adjust this, and this. Mm-hmm. And now here you have just some basics that you can start working on until you learn more.
Definitely.
Right? And the other thing is there's sometimes a fear of, let's say with weight loss. Well, but what if I don't lose weight? What if I try and I fail? Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you don't start, you'll never finish. Right? At least give yourself the opportunity to open the floodgates for possibility. Right. Just walking in the gym starts the process. And that may just open up the door for a bunch of questions. All right, there's a bunch of machines here. I'm not really sure. Let me get the guy at the front desk. Excuse me, sir. Can you just, I'm really new to this, so just let's try not to make a scene. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just tell him, hey, I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm not really. 9 times out of 10, the people in the gym want to help you.
Exactly.
And if you think the employees might be a little immature, grab the manager.
Right.
You know what? I feel more comfortable with you. Can you just sort of show me around? I know you guys got trainers here, but I just, I trust you.
And sometimes too, Christian, you can find people members that look versed or kind of look like they know what they're doing. Most people in the gym are not scary. You can usually, as long as you don't bug someone in a set, you just have to have gym etiquette. So when someone's performing a set, let them finish, give them a second. Then you can walk over and say, hey, could you show me quick how to do this? Or I can't move the seat, or, everybody's always really happy to lend a hand. Gym people aren't scary, especially the people that are super big and muscular, the men. They're probably really some of the nicest people you'll ever come across, and they'll always be willing to help you or show you. So don't be afraid either. And it's a great way to make friends and ask questions.
It's true. And that's actually a great point to bring up, because a gym that we lift at called Powerhouse Gym New Haven. Shout out to the Montanari brothers.
Woohoo!
Darren,
Best
Jerry,
gym ever.
you guys are awesome.
We love it. Home away from home.
Yes. One of my favorite places to be. And
our favorite places.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Our. We're a couple. It's our. See the look he's giving me. Don't say that on.
Someone who's never lifted a weight in their life walks into this place, and you see everyone in there is a hard worker. I'm talking the young little girls that are in there. You're like, holy shit, she's got a physique on her. Jesus Christ, look at the shoulders and traps, But when you speak to people, you might walk up to them and be like, hey, I'm really not sure. Oh, yeah, no problem. I'll, just here, come over here. I'll show you what to do. Versus, thinking this guy's, you go up to this guy and say, hey, can you show me how to use this? And they laugh at you. Oh, look at this idiot. Yeah. Everyone look.
Right.
Never happens.
And the lights go off and on, and the siren goes on.
Oh, yeah. Like Planet Fitness does.
The spotlight comes on you. Hey, you don't know how to do an exercise.
Yeah. And then everyone just starts, right? It never happens that way.
Nope.
And, like Linda said, chances are if someone looks like they know what they're doing, not always, but oftentimes you could probably ask them for a minute of their time. Again, do not approach them while they're mid-set.
Right.
I've had this happen to me.
Gym etiquette.
Yes, and I'm still polite to them, and I'll also say, hey, just next time, just wait till you see me on the side breathing between my set. Just, don't come up to me while I'm lifting something heavy so I don't hurt myself.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Plus, it's just annoying because you're trying to focus on what you're doing. You feel someone's presence.
Yes, they're just like staring at you.
So you want to use gym etiquette.
And remember, so give yourself the chance to succeed. Fear, obviously, as we've said, it stops you from starting. Just open the door, okay? If you don't have a regimen right now, baby steps, right? A baby crawls before it can walk. It walks before it can run. So if all you know is walking outside or on a treadmill, go walk, right? And then when you're in the gym, so I've had clients do this. They've talked to me when they're in the beginning of their fitness journey, and a guy might say, Christian, I've never I'm a little nervous because I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to be the guy pushing a machine and find out I'm on the thing upside down and backwards.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, such and such, we'll just leave the names blank. I'm like, you know what? Just go in there, start walking on the treadmill, and just look, just watch.
Just navigate,
look
around.
Yeah, even if you do this for a week, you go there 5, 6, however many days, and you'll see people using things, and you'll know who knows what they're doing.
Right.
It's just like when you watch someone fight or you watch someone do a certain art, you sort of know who knows what they're doing. So you look around, okay, that guy's on that machine. Okay, that girl, she's doing, okay, now I see how to do that. Okay, she looks good. She knows. Right. And then you start to, all right, you know what? I've seen a bunch of people on that machine. They all use it the same way. Let me go try that one. Look at the little direction panel on there. This is what the muscle group is for, or this is the muscle group. The main muscle, the main mover. And you start there, and maybe that's your one machine. And then the next time you go, I try another machine, and you'll eventually get a routine. But at least put yourself in the orbit of these things.
Right.
You're not, because now you're in the fitness culture, right? You've made it into the gym. Now you're around the people. Start chatting with people. Again, it's not. Most people are open to a little bit of conversation. Again, keep it brief. Yes. You want to respect people's time. Yep. Because there's many people that are in there that I need to get in and out, but they have no problem giving you a minute. Hey,
a quick answer.
And even compliment them. I've done this myself when I wanted to find something out. Yo, those are awesome shoes. By the way, what is that exercise you're doing working? Right. And someone's like, oh, thank you very much. I got these on, whatever. People love talking about their stuff. And then they'll show you, yeah, cool. By the way, what's your name? My name is John. Oh, my name's Sarah. Oh, nice to meet you. Now you got a buddy at the gym. And you do that periodically, and you start meeting people, and then you can mingle, and you become part of the culture.
Look forward to going. It becomes like we just talk about Montanari Brothers, and it's a home for us. We go there, we see lots of people that we know, and I always meet somebody new too when we go there during the week. It's always, people will come up and ask me a question, or you smile at someone you haven't seen before. So yes, the other thing I think that will help alleviate you from feeling self-conscious or fearful walking into the gym is before you go into the gym, have a little plan in place. Have your notebook and write down the things you want to do. Maybe you just want to do a few different exercises. You want to do the treadmill. Maybe you want to do some sit-ups, and you want to use a couple leg machines. But have a plan, because if you have a plan going in, you'll be less, I think, apprehensive. And most gyms are set up so that leg machines are all near leg machines, lying leg curl, seated leg curl, leg extensions, things like that, leg press. Back machines are together. Like, they're usually clumped together. So if you learn the lay of the land too, like Christian said, being on a treadmill and just kind of navigating around, looking, seeing where everything is, that helps alleviate fear too. Because like, I want to do some back stuff today. So you know exactly where to go. You go right to the area where the back machines are and you do what you want to do. And it's just going to make you feel more and more confident. And every time you go, you learn more and more and more about the atmosphere. I have to tell you guys that whenever Christian and I travel, or I travel alone and we have to find a gym, if we're in another state or we're somewhere else, it's always, I always have that little apprehension sometimes walking into a gym that I don't know, because I don't know where things are. So, and I don't know anybody and I'm brand new, and people usually know who the new people are coming in because, I don't recognize that person, so, I know what you're feeling. I feel the same way sometimes, but I know I'll usually just say, where are the leg machines, or where's, I'll go to the dumbbell rack and just warm up with something as I look around and try to figure out where everything is. So I understand the feeling. I don't know, Christian, if you ever feel that, but sometimes walking into a new gym, you do feel like the spotlight's on you a little bit, like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah, it's, okay.
So I understand the feeling.
Yeah, I can attest to that feeling. Not so much with the gym, that's just me personally, but like if I go to a nutrition conference or a seminar,
right.
And
that too.
The way, like, you're one of the last people to walk in and everyone's seated already, and you have to sort of walk up to the front and get your name tag, and you're like, oh shit, they're all looking at me. All right, I hope I don't have toilet paper attached to my shoe, or my shirt's not tucked in, my fly is open, because you're thinking all these things.
I got a hole in my pants.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like, do I have a stain? Like, did I drop sauce on my shirt? I don't know.
But those are all absolutely walking into a room by yourself.
Yeah, so you just got to keep the chin up.
It's the same feeling.
Like, this is my place.
It's the same feeling. Yeah. It's
So-
totally that same emotion. We all feel it at different times whenever, it's elicited in us in whatever environment that we're in. But the bottom line is, don't feel self-conscious. Know where you're going, have a plan, and then just pursue it. And if you need help navigating that plan, then you ask the right people that are in the places that can take care of that for you. And that'll help alleviate that fear. The gym should be a fun place to go, a place where you can relieve stress, a place where you can relieve fears, a place where you can get in touch with yourself, think about things, listen to something. It should be a place of motivation and self-esteem building and confidence building and all those things. So don't let that emotion hold you back from feeling some of the most amazing feelings you can have.
Exactly. And real brief, this also comes into play with things like martial arts. Like, some people want to get into different types of fitness. Like, I want to learn kettlebell.
Yeah,
so
not just the gym.
You might go to a CrossFit gym. And at a lot of CrossFit gyms, there are some really fit people, just like regular gyms, right?
Yep.
But, there's more complex movements like kettlebell swings, like box jumps. Oh, I'm going to look like an idiot. The best thing you can do, or a great thing you can do, is call in advance. Hey, I'm new to this whole experience. I'd like to come in and just get some guidance from a coach, or maybe come in during an off hour, just show me the place. A lot of times they have foundations classes where they teach you the basic movements. So you're not going in there and it's not like it's going to be the CrossFit Games on day one. Right? Or martial arts class. Like, I did martial arts for 12 years. And you have new students come in and, they're nervous. And now as an adult, you might go into a class and be like, well, I'm going to look stupid. There might be kids in there.
Right.
So you call in advance. Hey, I'm new. I'm a little nervous. What's the best day to come? Is there a beginner's class? So you just, you prepare the environment for you.
Exactly.
So that you can just be you, and they know what to expect and you know what to expect.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off too. And then it makes it more fun because they know, okay, you're just starting. Here are some of the basics. And when you conquer the basics, just in doing a little research before we did this podcast on fear, one of the things I found was, preparing for battle and handling your emotions, knowing worst case scenario, like planning for what you're going to attack, so that when you hit something and you achieve a movement or you achieve a goal, celebrate it. Celebrate the small victories along the way, because it's really, really important.
Yes. And in regards to fitness, don't necessarily celebrate them with food. Right?
No. I didn't mean that.
No. I'm just saying, just find, because sometimes it happens. Oh, I deserve a burger. Just find something that's conducive to your goals. That's fun.
I meant, I also too, I should clarify that, but I meant celebrate it in the sense that, hey, I'm a badass. I just did that. I was afraid to start, and I started, and I've accomplished it. Like celebrate it in a way of let it build your self-esteem. Celebrate that way. I didn't mean like go get a Snickers bar. So, but yeah. So in switching to another topic, one that I think is really important is fear of aging. I think that is something to touch on because we tend to let our age hold us back, I think, from doing things. And I said to Christian before, I'm like, there's that expression, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I think I think sometimes people can use the aging process as a reason to not do things. So maybe, just because it's our world, we're taking it back to like a health and wellness perspective of, oh, I'm too old to start trying to learn how to do jujitsu or karate I'll use myself as an example again. I want to take dance lessons. I've always wanted to take dance lessons. It's not an area that I'm very proficient at, and I'd like to really learn how to salsa dance. And I need to do that. And I wouldn't say fear around it, but maybe a little apprehension because I know I kind of don't move like that, but that's why I want to do it because I want to learn how to move like that. And that's something that I want to do. But I don't think that we should allow our age to hold us back from going back to school. Christian, like I mentioned before when we were talking about this, people that have gone back to school post 60 years old, post 70 years old to learn a new discipline, to get a nursing degree or a law degree or whatever it is. But we can do anything we want at any time in our life. So we can't really let aging hold us back and feel like, it's past my time. It's past my prime. I don't, that's not a good way to be. And I think that's really important, especially as for the women I work with over 40, over 50 and beyond. I hear that sometimes a lot. Kids are gone and they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. And they're fearful to try something new. They're fearful to go into the gym. They're fearful to maybe take a class or some kind of something because maybe they feel like, what am I going to do with it now? I'm this age and it's too late. I should have done that in my 20s or 30s.
Yeah, it's very true. And a lot of people learn that. A lot of us learn that from the media, commercials.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of commercials that sort of tell you to accept aging. It's just, and I'm not saying that in regard to lie to yourself that I'm not this age, but it's embrace it, right? Rather than run from it.
Right.
People think, oh, I'm getting older, I should probably slow down. No, it's actually important to speed up to the best of your own ability, right? So movement becomes important as you age because, one, you want to gain or maintain muscle. You want to maintain your skills. You want to maintain your speed, your power, your balance, right? Your mental acuity and doing new activities like, Linda brought up jiu-jitsu. Now, I've done jiu-jitsu before, and it's amazing. And the cool thing is that it's a very niche community. Everyone is very respectful. Sometimes, the newbies want to come in and puff their chest out, but that's not, they get humbled very quickly. So it's not like you're going to go in there and get thrown against the wall and then you leave with 2 broken legs. You come in, again, there's beginner's days, and you meet these people that are very invested in this art, right? It's just like lifting in the gym. For someone like a bodybuilder like myself or Linda, it's an art, right? Mm-hmm. So we respect the area. We respect the people coming in to share this experience with us. And when it comes to learning new skills, this could even be something that's just based on fun or financial, right? I hear plenty of people, most of the men that I train are very successful men. They're entrepreneurs, they're CEOs, they're very successful and very well traveled and read and very educated people. And, when it comes to finances, some people get to a certain age and they're like, I should have started investing years ago. Right. Now it's too late, or I don't want to spend the time and learn about it. I'll just keep saving my way to financial freedom, which if any of you understand how that works, it doesn't work that way. You can't save your way to wealth. Nope. You've got to make your money work for you. So even starting off by reading a book on investing, taking an investing class, and now they have them online. Well, and, it's simple enough to do. You just have to get started. That's the big part of all this.
Right.
You just have to get started, and you have to stay with it, right? It's going to get tough. There's going to be nights where I don't want to do this, and you got to push through those, just like in the gym. I don't really feel like today, going to the gym, I felt a little tired, right? And this is a thing that's common. And you might think, okay, I'll just take it easy on myself. And in fact, the times that you don't feel the confidence that you usually do, that you feel like you want to back off, you want to quit, or, hey, I'll just stay home today. Remember, that is a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've gotten out of your comfort zone, it's always there right behind you. And that comfort zone is, I hit my snooze today.
Right.
Right? Or, you know what, I didn't get that walk in. I'll just do it tomorrow. These are the things that you have to avoid. You have to make sure that you push yourself to maintain your consistency. So the same thing with, I had mentioned investing or something like skydiving or surfing, right? There's these things, these skills that people want to do. Oh man, I've always wanted to mountain bike or summit this mountain, or I've always wanted to skydive, and I've done that. It's a lot of fun. But people are like, oh, but what if I die? What's funny is that you are mathematically way more likely to die on a drive, right?
Yeah.
Than you are from jumping from the sky, right? It's insane. If you the math isn't like, I don't have it on the tip of my tongue right now, but it's insane. And these things that, again, you throw the fear in front of you. You know what? I'll just save that for another lifetime. Are you never going to do it?
It's almost sad in a way to think of not pursuing things that are passionate to you, and just coming back into the age piece of it too. A lot of people think when they get into their 50s, their mindset is more retirement, leaving your job, moving somewhere where it's a little bit slower maybe, but you know what, I just think that's not a great mindset to have. If you're retiring from one career because you want to now pursue something else, that's a different story. But to just sort of say you're going to retire and then what? Sit on the porch and rock in your rocking chair for the next 30 years or whatever. It's doing things like Christian said, your brain acuity. That is what's going to keep you sharp, because I can speak for myself, but I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me. Christian, I'm sure will agree with me. As you age, you want to stay sharp. You want to be on it. Nobody wants to start forgetting things and not feeling great and having aches and pains. Like, the more you pursue the things that are passionate to you, the sharper your brain will be, the younger you're going to look, the happier you're going to be. When you're happy and healthy and feeling good, your cells reflect that. So you just want to make sure that you don't let age give you that whole what society tells us. You get 55 plus or 60 plus, 65 plus. Now it's time to kick back and retire and, become more relaxed. You've worked so hard and you should take it easy now. But how many people do you know, and I'll raise my hand because I know people too, that have retired at an early age and then are like, the next thing you know, they're working, they have a job, because they're like, I stayed home for like a week and then I started to lose my mind. So, and that's a good thing, because we're meant to think and pursue and do and be active, and our bodies want to move and our brain wants to think. So it's important. Don't let age hold you back or keep you fearful from doing anything. You can do anything you want at any age.
Exactly. Biologically, we're meant to thrive. We're meant to be challenged. This is why the people that achieve and enjoy, which is a big part, the most success in life, are the people who have been through the greatest challenges, right? Think of any successful person in the business world, successful athlete. Why are they enjoying life so much? Because they got through a challenge, right? They had to work their ass off to get where they are. And now they are the elite, and they're enjoying the fruits of their hard labor, months, years, decades of work to get themselves. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old when he first started to enjoy his success. He was 65. Everyone that you know and that I know has likely heard of KFC.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? 65. So what's your excuse?
Right.
There's plenty of people out there right now who are in their 70s, 80s. I had a client, Marty. Shout out to Marty. Marty's an awesome guy. Such a well-traveled guy. He's a doctor. And 77 years old. 2 hip replacements. First day he comes to me in the gym. And, he tells me his goals. Would like to get a little stronger because he travels a lot. I mean, he's going to India, he's going to Australia, he's going to Africa, he's going to Iceland. He's just all over. And this guy, he's such a sweet guy. And his wife is awesome, grandkids. And he's showing me these pictures of all these. He's in Jaipur. He's showing me all these pictures. And he's like, Christian, one of the things that I have trouble with is walking on these trips, right? You go to the Great Wall of China, you go to, there's a lot of traveling you have to do. And at 77, it's not always easy if you don't keep yourself tuned, right? So we worked on some basic things, to get him fit for that. And no surprise, he's like, oh, wow, the last trip was great. I was walking for miles and miles and never got tired. He's like, my wife couldn't even keep up with me. Usually she's in the front. And we eventually got this guy to do box jumps, right? And someone might think, 77 doing box. Well, you have to maintain, not you have to, but you should maintain your power at that age, right? And learn how to control your body, right? Let's say he trips and falls.
Right.
Well, now he has the skills to catch himself versus falling and breaking a hip, and then what happens?
And he's stronger and he's more resilient. So if he does happen to trip and fall, he's not going to be,
exactly
in the hospital and broken hip or this or that.
Versus the person that's just, oh, well, I'm just getting old and
feeble.
We've all had this or know about this where people get to a certain age and they're just used to their comfort. So their comfort zone. So they either go to work and they come home, they sit on the couch, they watch TV, and oh man, I got back pain, I got knee pain. I'd really love to lose some weight. I'd really love to. I'd love to. And then nothing ever happens. And then before you know it, they have, they got a limp or this hurts. They got that forward neck posture. Oh, my back is always, and unfortunately, at a certain point for some people, there's not enough time left to correct these things. So now the latter part of your life, you don't enjoy. You're always in pain.
Right.
And the worst part is thinking back, regretting what you should have done.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I should have. Regret weighs heavier than any activity, the burden of any activity ever will.
Absolutely.
And that's, if there's anything I can instill in you who's listening right now, don't subject yourself to regret. You're better off. The things that you're going to think about towards the end of life are the things that you should have done. Like, damn, man, it might even have been in high school. I should have talked to that girl, right? I should have went for that job. I should have said this to that guy. Oh, man, right? And the worst part is you can't do anything about it.
And even if you try something that you've really wanted to do, like you've always wondered about, you try it and you go, hey, you know what? It's really not what I thought it was, and I think I'm good. And that's cool. That's okay, because you can always go, you know what? I tried it, and it wasn't for me, but I ended up doing this, and I like that much better. So you're better off trying and saying, I'm not buying, versus never trying and never knowing. So that's, I think, is really, really key to anything, no matter what it is. You can apply that to any aspect of your life, especially like moving into fear of changing your career. I mean, a lot of people get stuck, Christian, in a job and don't like what they do. I mean, I'm sure people listening, you probably can all think of somebody that that's in a career they don't like. Maybe it's you listening. You're in a career that you don't like.
Yeah.
But you can always change course. You just have to do it. And I'm not saying that it's not scary. It could be feeling like you're jumping off a cliff into the darkness and you don't know. But it's better, I think, to try something and see if it works out or not than to not and always wonder. I know for me personally, when I left working on Wall Street after I started a family, I knew that I wanted to work again, but I knew that was not going to be the career for me anymore. And I had to find something else that I was passionate about. And I did. But, that's a perfect example. I just knew that getting on the train at 5:30 in the morning going into New York City was just not what I wanted to do anymore. I could have done it, and I thought about doing it because it paid well, but it just, for me, it wasn't worth the money. I wanted to find something else. And that is a very important thing. I think sometimes people just stay pigeonholed in a career that they're miserable in, and that will affect everything too. I mean, that affects your whole body and how you feel, and aches and pains and emotions and sleep. I mean, you guys know it's just a whole cascade of events, bad things that happen when you stay in a job that you're not really happy in.
Yeah, and you might have found yourself in this situation, you listening, where you got a college degree and you have this thing, and either maybe you don't get the work that you expected, or you get into the field and you're like, wow, I don't enjoy this at all.
Right.
I personally know people
That's realistic, too.
Who have gotten into high-level jobs, like very successful executives, making a boatload of money, and every day they're driving their Porsche to work and they hate every minute of it. They're like, I don't want to talk to my freaking boss. Like, this guy's such a jerk. And, but again, they're afraid of losing the lifestyle. Now, they've got plenty of money. They could change a job and they'd be fine for a while, but also the prestige. Well, if I go to the country club and people know I'm not, what if they find out I switched to this job? They're not going to respect me anymore. Worried about what other people think. Fear, right? And again, I'm not saying just dive into something mindlessly. A plan is always a great idea. Make a plan. So maybe you realize, okay, I hate this job, so what's my plan to get out of this? Okay, I'm going to work this for the next 6 months. I'm not going to buy this, and spend money on this. I'm going to save money so I am okay in the interim until I go to this other job or pursue this other thing. And this could also be a fulfillment goal, like something that you just want to do. So I know people that have always wanted to get into charity work. And they have a demanding job, and it's like, well, they could dial back on that demanding job because they have the ability, but they're afraid because, what if, people see me pursuing something else and they think I'm starting to slack, or what will other people think? My wife doesn't think this is a good idea. She sort of thinks it's stupid.
Right.
The most important person to make happy is yourself, even above your spouse, right? You are the most important person in your life. So if there's something that you can't stop thinking about, that when you think about it, either your heart starts beating fast or you get excited. You genuinely are looking forward to the possibility of doing this thing, or you want to try it and you're like, I really, really, then just try. Just dip your foot in the pool. That's it. If you realize it's not for you, you can always step out. But give yourself the opportunity to enjoy this thing, because who knows what it could lead to.
Right.
You meet people, you get opportunities, and you achieve things that you may have never had the opportunity to if you didn't step out of your comfort zone and give yourself a chance.
I think the other piece of it too is if you're married or you're in a serious relationship, discuss your feelings with your partner, because any solid, good relationship, that other person is going to help you, may question you, and maybe help you see things from maybe a different perspective. Because sometimes when we get a thought in our head and we get impulsive about it, we don't always look at the whole picture clearly. We're not objective. Somebody that cares about you can help you see some of those objections clearly so that you can balance it all out. But at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, that other person is going to support you. So it's good to have that support from that person. It's very important. You're not just going to be like, hey, honey, I quit my job today because I'm going to start, basket weaving company, and be like, what? How are we paying the mortgage this month, honey? So but that's a conversation you want to have with your significant other, because together you'll make a plan. And when you have that support, that foundation, it's going to make you feel invincible, that you can do whatever you want to do. Like, you don't need to embark on something and have that alone feeling either. And like, oh my God, if I fail, I'm on my own. Like, no, you've got someone there who's going to catch you. You've got a partner. You've got a teammate that's going to help you. And if it's not a significant other, maybe it's a best friend, or maybe it's a parent or a sibling, but always, entrust someone that has your best interests at heart too, and wants to see you happy genuinely and see you succeed. So that'll help alleviate your fears. And that's going to help you have the confidence to say, you know what? I can do that.
Yeah. And I think an important part is developing your skill on the skill of confidence, because confidence is a skill. It's not just something that you have. It's something that you have to work on. Confidence comes from doing the thing, achieving the thing, and now I feel a certain way about it. And just to let you guys in on some things that I personally do, and I know Linda has done some of these. Some of them I've pushed her to do. Some of them she already does on her own. But they're character building skills. I often talk about character building. And I tell people, I'm like, listen, there's no such thing as a bad day. It's a character building day. Whatever happened to you that made you feel that way, what can you change as far as your perspective or your environment or whatever it is, so that you don't feel that way, or you are better able to manage how you feel about these things.
And learn from it too.
Yeah. And so, I consider myself a very confident person now, but I wasn't always that way. When I was a kid, for whatever got me into these bad habits of not speaking my mind, Sometimes like a friend might say something, whether it's stupid or just whatever, and I'd leave the situation thinking, oh, I should have said this or should have said that.
You always come up with the good lines after. After.
Yeah. You snap your fingers like,
God, I should have said that.
Yeah, and or a thing might happen at work, and somebody says something, or a customer said, whatever it is, and you're so used to not speaking your mind that you just clam up. And you take it.
Suck it up.
Exactly. And you just live with that regret of not handling the situation confidently. So a few things that I've done is I learned to assert myself, right? And these things happen at different... The opportunity to become good at this is in your everyday life. For example, you go to a restaurant, right? And... I know some of you have had this experience, and the waiter or waitress comes out, brings you your food, and it's not how you want. This often happens if you eat red meat, right?
It does.
Burger comes out.
Overcooked, undercooked.
I ordered this medium. Now, many people will just, you know what, let's just eat it. I don't want any issues.
Right? Yep. Versus
now, and I was that way in the past until I kicked myself in the ass, and I'm like, say something. So now it's like, no, excuse me. Like this isn't what I ordered. So, I'll accept the meal once what I ordered or how I ordered it comes back out. And the same thing with, something comes out, it's not hot, whatever it is, just even if it's not that big of a deal to you, if you know that you're generally not a confident person in dealing with it, I wouldn't even call this conflict, right? Or just, but it could seem that way to you if you're not used to things that are sort of uncomfortable.
Well, it's like, I don't want to make waves. Let's just suck it up. Just
it's like
accept it.
Yeah, just do it.
It's not a big deal.
Exactly. Just do it anyway. Or you get up to the front of the store and something was on sale. Oh no, I'm sorry, this was in the wrong spot. Well, hey, I'd like to speak to the manager, please. This was here, and I deserve this. Or, you're at a car dealer, and this happens all the time. And it's unfortunate, but car dealerships, some of them, do take advantage of women.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? And Linda's had this experience. And also
yes.
tire shops, right?
I just had, not that long ago, I had an experience.
Yeah, so, and I want you to tell them about it. So, if you go to a car dealer, and let's say it's time for your regular scheduled maintenance, right? And you go in there, you leave the car. Oh yeah, just come back in a couple hours. We'll give you the loaner, and everything will be all ready. You come back, and you're like, okay, why the hell are all these zeros at the end of this bill? This is supposed to be. Oh yeah, so we went ahead and replaced your wiper fluid. You also had a belt that was loose. We also replaced the cabin air filter, and we did your brakes. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
We are $3,000 in. This was supposed to be a $600 regular maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, if we don't change these things, you could be. And that is the point at which you need to say, no, this is not what I came here for.
Not okay.
If you thought these things needed to be changed, you should have contacted me. I will not pay for this. I want to speak to your manager. Mm-hmm. Right? And hey, your heart might be beating fast. I've been there. I've said the things, and I'm like, oh,
it's
my
gonna hold
God.
you cool.
I'm like, I can't believe I just freaking said that. Heart's like, right? And the manager comes out, and you're like, all right, I talked too much shit to back off now,
Yeah.
And then you just got to speak it out, and then eventually you get used to it. And then when you leave and you've won the situation, you're like, you know what? That feels good, right? And you walk out sweating.
You're like, adrenaline's pumping. Yeah. It's like, never let them see you sweat, baby. Just hold it together till you're alone. You're like, oh my God.
Exactly. And this is where you have to address your issues.
Yes.
Whatever you are not okay with, genuinely not okay with. Somebody says something
and
to you.
And you know, too. You know.
Yeah, your gut.
You know as soon as it happens.
You always listen to your gut.
As soon as it happens, you know.
Somebody says something to you that you're not okay with, address it, right? And this could also be if, someone... or before the situation happens, make sure you set expectations. Like, let's take it back to that dealership. Now, this is the confident you, right? Versus the you before would just come in, give the car, and hope for the best.
Right.
The confident you comes in and says, hey, okay, I know this is what's being done. I just want to let you know, if there's anything you see that needs to be changed, I want you to call me first before you do any work to this car.
Right.
Is that understood? And then, if the front desk guy is not clear with that, okay, let me speak to the manager. You okay with that? Okay, good. So that we have an understanding, so you don't get taken advantage of, and now you just emptied your bank account out because you weren't willing to be confident. So I want you to tell your story about the tire situation.
All right, I'll tell you my story very quickly. So I had a nail on my tire, and it went flat in my garage. They came, 24-hour roadside came, changed it, drove to the dealership the next day, to the Volvo dealership, and they said, oh, the tire it's a tire that has foam in it. It's not an inner tube, so we can't plug it. You need a whole new tire. But you need another tire on the other side so that they balance out. So now you need 2 new tires, and I think this is a while ago, but I think they quoted me something like $1,200. Mm-hmm. So I walked in there thinking I was going to have a plug for I don't know, 20 bucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm spending $1,500 on 2 new tires. So I'm sitting in the waiting room. I call Christian. I'm like, he's like, don't do anything. I said, okay. So they gave me a loaner. He's like, think about it. I came home. And then, I thought about it, and I ended up calling a tire place near me and told him the story. And he said, he's like, oh my God, ma'am. He's like, do not spend that kind of money. He's like, bring it to us. Bring the tire to us. He's like, we just push the foam out of the way. We plug up the tire, put the foam back in. You're good. He's like, it'll cost you like $15 or whatever he said. And I'm like, all right. So I went back up. I got my car with the donut on it, drove to the tire place. I don't even think it took them a half an hour. And when I dropped the car off to have the tire fixed, I went in and I think they charged me like $11. I'm like, okay. So I went home. He calls me. I go back. And I said, he's like, here you go. And I'm like, okay, how much do I owe you? And he goes, well, you already paid. I'm like, well, I only paid $11. He goes, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, I said to Christian, you know what? I almost spent $1,200 on 2 new tires. I almost did it because I trusted the dealership where I bought the car. I've known these guys forever. I've purchased many cars from them. So I trusted that they had my best interest at heart, but they didn't. They wanted to make money. And of course, no kidding. Everybody wants to make money. That's the first priority. And I went back I called Volvo and I said, you guys, you know what? I just paid $11 to have my tire fixed. And you told me you couldn't do it. I said, and I've trusted you guys for years and I really feel let down. And they were like, well, that's just how we operate. And they gave me some BS excuse, but the bottom line is that I almost let fear, I let that fear, like, I got caught up in it, like, okay, now I need 2 new tires, and I was just going to do it because it was easy and I was there, and don't make waves, don't ask questions, don't whatever. So.
And you're thinking that these people know more than me, so, safety is their number one.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot of money.
$11 versus $1,200.
Yeah. That would have.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah,
but now I learned, and
exactly.
I don't, and I actually, you know what I did that was good too. But I went on Google. Christian told me to do this, and I did it. And I looked at the tire, and I read about the foam and how you can fix it, and did it, and I understood it, and I learned something new from an experience. So,
exactly, and it wasn't, and now you have that power, that knowledge.
Yep.
That when you go into a situation, if something seems a little like now, hey, if you got the money, you don't care, whatever. But if
everybody should care about $1,500.
Well, yeah,
that's a chunk of change.
Yeah. So this is about you stepping into your own power in every situation. So next time you go to that restaurant, don't accept the meal if it's not what you want.
Right.
Next time you go to the tire place and they replace everything in the car and tell you owe them $1 million, tell them I am not okay with this, and I'm not leaving until you do right by me. Especially, like, she had spent, how much money with these people over the years buying, and you'd expect that they would give you the best service, right? Like, no, we got you. We're not going to tell you anything more than...
We'll just plug it for you.
Yeah, and this is just reality. And this is where you, stepping into your confidence, asserting yourself, you won't get taken advantage of, you'll be a more confident person, and you get what you want out of life.
Absolutely, and you're happy. So it's that simple, guys. So go be amazing. Go kick fear in the ass.
And assert yourself. Until next time, see you later.
Adios.